Your map may end at the Canadian border, but the grand adventure in your RV doesn't. Are you thinking about taking your rig to the Great White North this year? While Canada offers some of the most spectacular RVing on the planet, with a built-in discount of nearly 30% off the price of everything, getting there in a house on wheels isn't quite as simple as crossing a state line. From strict new pet rules for 2026 to hidden items that will get you turned around at the border, today we're breaking down everything American RVers need to know before they head north. So stay tuned. First things first, the border. You'll need more than just a smile. Every person in the rig needs a valid U.S. passport, passport card, or Nexus card. And don't forget the vehicle birth certificates. Have your RV registration and proof of insurance for both the motorhome and any tow you're pulling, or both your truck and your trailer. When you pull up, turn off the engine, take off your sunglasses, and lower the driver and passenger windows. Be honest, concise, and turn off your propane before you reach the booth. They often ask, and it shows you're a pro. Before you arrive, call your insurance provider and ask for a Canada non-resident interprovincial motor vehicle liability card, often called a yellow card. It's
Thank
free.
you very much.
Improves your U.S. policy, meets Canadian minimums to avoid fines and impoundment if stopped or in an accident.
It's the first one who picks on it.
Canada is strict about what enters their ecosystem. Here are the big ones that trip up RVers. Leave your firewood at home. It's a hard no due to invasive species. Instead, buy it at the campground. The fridge is where it gets tricky. Avoid bringing fresh poultry, eggs, or raw fruits and vegetables. If you're unsure, declare it. They'd rather you tell them about a bag of apples than find them during a random search. Leave the firearms, pepper spray, and mace at home. Canada views these very differently than we do in the U.S., and having them in your RV can get you denied entry at the border, or perhaps far worse. Bear spray is an exception, but it must be declared for use only for animal defense, not self-defense. Even though cannabis is legal in many U.S. states and all of Canada, crossing the border with it is a federal crime. Don't risk it. If you're traveling with your furry co-pilots like we do with Zoe, pay attention. As of 2026, the rules have tightened. You need a signed rabies vaccination certificate from your vet for any dog or cat over 3 months old. Puppies under 3 months do not require a rabies vaccine, but need proof of age. That rabies certificate must be in English or French and include your pet's breed, color, and weight. The animal must also appear to be in good health. Cats must also be accompanied by a veterinary certificate stating that the animal has been in the United States since birth, or for at least 6 months immediately preceding travel to Canada. Canadian border guards may insist upon a hard copy of these certificates, so don't rely solely upon digital copies on your mobile device. Carry both. You can bring up to 44 pounds of pet food, but it must be in its original, unopened commercial packaging. No Ziploc bags of kibble. Returning to the U.S. with your pet comes with its own complications too. A dog must be microchipped for re-entry into the U.S. You must also complete a CDC dog import form online in advance before returning to the U.S. And if you brought a young puppy into Canada, prepare to stay up north for a while. Dogs must be at least 6 months old to re-enter the U.S. So, once you've entered Canada, what's it like now that you're in Canada? We'll fill you in on the details right after we take a quick ad break, so stay tuned. travel into Canada, you get to do math. Once you cross the border, everything changes to metric units. Miles become kilometers, and gallons become liters. A big one for us RVers is bridge clearances, which are posted in meters. Doing some quick math, 1 meter is about 3.3 feet. If you see a 4-meter sign and you're in a 13-foot fifth wheel, you're cutting it dangerously close. Diesel and gasoline are both sold by the liter and generally cost more in Canada, often much more. We typically fill up in a border town just before crossing into Canada. Still, if you're going to be in Canada for more than a tank full, you're going to need to purchase fuel up north. If your motorhome or tow vehicle burns diesel, consider signing up for fleet cards through nationwidefuel.ca, which functions like a Canadian equivalent to Open Roads or Mudflat. This comes with the added benefit of access to the many cardlock pumps across Western Canada, which are unattended truck stops in rural locales. Using fleet cards got our price per gallon down to around, or in some cases even below, what it would have cost in some U.S. states, like California or Washington. If you're a remote worker or addicted to streaming, staying connected is vital. We use Starlink satellite internet and it works seamlessly across Canada. For cell service, most major U.S. carriers include Canada, but check your daily cap. You don't want a $500 bill when you get home. For Americans, everything in Canada is on sale. The exchange rate has hovered in favor of the American dollar for quite some time now. And at the time that we're filming this, a Canadian dollar costs around 74 US cents. That means that everything comes with a 25 to 30% discount, including camping fees. However, the Canadian dollar has been gaining ground overall over the past year. So the way things are currently headed, the sooner you prepay those campground reservations, the better. Despite the discount provided by the currency exchange, a few things in Canada are hideously expensive, quickly erasing the exchange rate benefit. Alcohol is particularly pricey, with hard liquor at retail costing 3 to 5 times what it would in most US states. And if you're a smoker, know that cigarettes are north of $20 a pack. Thanks to that exchange rate, you'll often pay only 25 to 35 US dollars per night for full hookup campsites across Canada. But there are some additional things about campgrounds in Canada that you need to know. In many parts of Canada, electrical hookups are limited to 30 amps. So if you have a 50 amp rig, bring a dog bone to step down your electrical connection. Also, in parts of Eastern Canada, full hookup is an unknown term. Instead, those are known as 3 services sites. Water and electric sites are referred to as 2 services, whereas electric or water only is called 1 service. Boondockers who like to make their camp on BLM or U.S. Forest Service land will find similar opportunities in Canada on Crown land, the name for government land in Canada. Boondocking on Crown land is generally permitted for up to 21 days before moving at least 100 meters. But be sure to check local, regional, or provincial regulations, as some areas restrict camping, and non-residents often need permits. For example, non-residents in Ontario must buy a permit that costs around $9.35 Canadian per day. In Alberta, both residents and non-residents may need a public lands camping pass. If we haven't yet convinced you to RV camp in Canada, the scenery surely will. We'll clinch the deal following one more quick ad break to pay the bills, so stay tuned. Canada is one of the most RV-friendly places on Earth. The Canadian Rockies of the western provinces of Alberta and British Columbia are simply spectacular, while the Maritimes of Atlantic Canada offer miles of spectacular ocean coastlines without the crowds. Just do your homework, be respectful at the border, and enjoy the grand adventure that awaits. If you've crossed the Canadian border recently in your RV, drop a comment down below with your best tip for your fellow travelers. We also may well be returning to Canada for part of our 2026 travels. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there and ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, because we premiere RV-centric videos each and every Wednesday. We'd also be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. It is extremely important to us that if you found the information in this episode useful to you, please be sure to give us a huge thumbs up down below. So until next Wednesday, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.